Hey Internet, Eric here again. Back with a top 5 list. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Um, usually my top 5 lists are pretty random. Except for my last one. My last one I wanted to do is a tribute to Alan Rickman. I did a top 5 Alan Rickman performances, so go check that one out. But this tonight's top 5 it's going to be something nice and simple. It's going to be my top 5 movies of all time. My favorite movies of all time. I've loved movies as long as I could remember. Everything about them. I love just being able to sit down and escape into a film. Be it a drama, be it an action movie, horror movie, what have you. And there are many times when I can say, "Oh, I love this movie," or "I love that movie. That movie's fantastic for this reason." But my top 5 films that, in my opinion, have always pretty much stayed steady, and they haven't changed throughout any of the years. And I'm eventually going to do individual reviews of each of these, within good time. But I figured I can crank another video out. Hopefully, hear some opinions on what you think, and yeah, what have you. So today, my top five favorite films of all time, and my last top 5 lists usually aren't always in order. These here are in order from number 5 up to number 1. So we're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is Sin City, directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring, oh god, so many fucking people: Bruce Willis, Benicio del Toro, Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba, Jamie King, Michael Madsen, my wife's boyfriend, what the fuck is his name? Nick Stahl, Josh Hartnett. There's so many people in this fucking movie. But Sin City is based off of a bunch of graphic novels by Frank Miller, who also has a cameo in this. And it's a wonderful film noir movie. In film noir, I love film noir, where you have the actor or, the character doing what they're doing, but they're narrating the scene. I've always loved this. Love that in any type of, setting. It's like reading a book on film. Mickey Rourke as the Marv character is my favorite character in the movie. And basically, I'm going to review it later, but basically the plot is a bunch of interwoven stories. Mickey Rourke plays Marv, who is a brute who frequents a bar a lot, falls in love with I think she is a hooker, and eventually she's killed, and he is going on a revenge mission to find out who her killer is. And there is a second story starring Clive Owen, and he is going up against Benicio del Toro, who tried to attack a prostitute, and the prostitutes take him out. They find out he's a cop, and Clive Owen tries to stop the cops and the villains and all this stuff from taking out prostitutes. And then there's the final story starring Bruce Willis and Nick Stahl. Bruce Willis and Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba's in all the stories. But Bruce Willis is a police detective, and he rescues a young Jessica Alba from Nick Stahl, who is a rapist of young women. Eventually, Bruce Willis is blamed for her rape, because Nick Stahl's father is a huge politician, blah, blah, blah. Gets out of prison, meets up with Jessica Alba again. Nick Stahl takes her captive. Bruce Willis tries to rescue her. The way this is filmed, is filmed just like the way the Frank Miller has drawn the graphic novels. And, black and white, little touches of color, fantastic performances all around, great action, great soundtrack, Yeah, definitely check out Sin City if you're a fan of film noir, what have you. All right, number 4, pseudo sequel to Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. We have The Devil's Rejects, starring Sid Haig, Sherry Moon Zombie, Bill Moseley, Diamond Dallas Page, Danny Trejo, and a plethora of other fucking people. Yeah, I'm not even William Forsythe. Like I said, I'm going to do individual reviews of these, but pseudo sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, a different feel, a different type of movie. Being a sequel to House. House was more of a Rob Zombie music video come to life. This here is a gritty. This here is a gritty grindhouse type movie, and you're following the Firefly family from the first film. They're being tracked down by William Forsythe, who is after them for revenge because they killed his brother in the first film. And it's so good. I mean, the performances here by Sid Haig and Bill Moseley mainly. Oh, so charismatic. These are villains that you cheer for, and which is, I believe, Rob Zombie's intention, because you go a lot of character reversal. You go from knowing that the Firefly family are this despicable group of mass murderers, and I'm sure that I think they mentioned necrophilia and rape and all this and what have you. And these are evil, evil fucking people. And then you got William Forsythe, who is he's a deputy and he wants to take down this family, but he also wants to get revenge for his brother's murder, and so he's the hero. But midway through the role reversal, you end up cheering for the Firefly family, and you realize that Forsythe, as Detective Wydell, he is a sadistic man, and he will cross every line to do what he needs to do to catch this family, and he becomes the villain, depending on your point of view. So Devil's Rejects, my favorite Rob Zombie film, hands down, nothing holds a candle to The Devil's Rejects. Fantastic dialogue, fantastic acting, very brutal scenes. There's a forced oral sex scene in a hotel room between Bill Moseley and, is her name on here? No, but I will say it. Leslie Easterbrook? No, not Leslie Easterbrook. I'll put in a caption here. Yeah, very uncomfortable, but very necessary to show how sadistic Bill Moseley's character of Otis is. Devil's Rejects. Number 3. Perhaps my favorite Schwarzenegger movie of all time. It's not Batman and Robin. We have Predator. Predator, there's nothing really to see. Predator, if you've lived under a rock for the last 20 to 25 years. Arnold Schwarzenegger's biggest action film, testosterone film movie ever, in my opinion. Schwarzenegger is the leader of a group of military people, and they're going into Central America on what they think is a rescue mission. And the rescue mission goes wrong, and as they're on their way to leave, they realize they're being hunted by an extraterrestrial being, which is the Predator, and it can see through infrared, and it's hunting them and killing Schwarzenegger's group. Oh, that felt so fucking good. Schwarzenegger's group one by one, taking them down, skinning them, taking their skulls as trophies, hanging them from trees, what have you, and eventually, you find out, it's a fucking Schwarzenegger film. It ends up with being Schwarzenegger versus the Predator, in this giant showdown. Top-notch action. Not so much overkill on the one-liners, which is great because sometimes Schwarzenegger is pretty bad with this stuff. I'm looking at you, Batman and Robin. But and a fantastic macho cast. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, then you have Jesse Ventura, you have Carl fucking Weathers, Bill motherfucking Duke, and then you have you got Sonny Landham thrown in there, Shane Black, who am I forgetting? I don't know. Anyways, total testosterone filled movie with explosions. You got, sexual humor between the guys because they're in the fucking jungle. And then you have the gore. The gore here is fantastic. As little as it is, but it will stick with you. And it's very, very quotable, which is great. Because this is where Jesse Ventura got the quote for his autobiography, "I ain't got time to bleed." Predator, hands down, my opinion, Arnold's best movie. Number 2, directed by David Fincher of Alien 3, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Fight Club fame. I think he did Gone Girl as well. But this is a powerful, powerful film. My second favorite movie of all time. 7. Now this movie has been parodied many times. I'm not going to go into it so much with, spoilers. We all know the ending if you've seen it. But it is Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman tracking down a serial killer who is murdering victims in the likeness of the 7 deadly sins. Kills a fat guy with gluttony, kills a lawyer with greed, a prostitute with lust, and so on. And the acting here is so fantastic. Brad Pitt plays this new detective teamed up with this retiring detective, Morgan Freeman. And they have opposing viewpoints. And, Brad Pitt, sees the goodness in the world. And Morgan Freeman sees, this world is basically shit. Is it worth fighting for? And it's cool seeing them interact. They have a really, really good chemistry. And it's not so much a spoiler. We find out that the killer is played by Kevin Spacey. And the charisma this dude has on screen is fantastic. Excuse me. This man is a psychotic killer. But when you finally meet him, you're like, wow, this dude is charismatic. And you're drawn to him. Everything he says is great. And, fantastic performances. Gwyneth Paltrow. I think this is her first film. And she plays Brad Pitt's wife. They have fantastic chemistry as well. You can tell they're a married couple. I mean, God, soundtrack is so good, so chilling. It's basically all instrumental, except for, one Nine Inch Nails song. God, I can't praise this movie enough. Yeah. The way David Fincher, films a lot of this stuff and makes you uncomfortable with some scenes. The sloth's murder still sticks with me. Oh, so disgusting. Yeah, you can feel the grime and, the all-out disgust in this film through the screen. 7. Great psychological thriller. You're on the edge of your seat. Plenty of oh shit moments. Like, how did that happen? Highly, highly recommended. My number 1 film of all time. And it was based on a graphic novel. God, I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this movie, and I still love it. Fantastic soundtrack, fantastic performances all around. Great moral story. It's got everything. If you ask me, it is The Crow, starring Brandon Lee and Ernie Hudson and shit ton of others. Directed by Alex Proyas. Whatever. The Crow. Brandon Lee, first we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, Brandon Lee was sadly killed filming this film. But, and sadly, this film will be known for that piece of information. I'll get more into it when I individually, review this film. But basically, the plot is Brandon Lee plays Eric Draven. And Eric Draven and his girlfriend Shelley are getting married. And the day before their wedding, she is raped and he is murdered by a bunch of thugs. And he is, and then she eventually sadly dies in the hospital later on. A year later, he's brought back to life because they say a crow will carry your spirit into the afterlife, but if something bad has happened, it'll bring you back to life, and you know, you can put the wrong things right. So it's a good revenge story. And what happens is, obviously, Eric Draven comes back to life, and he takes revenge on all of the thugs that killed him and raped Shelley, his fiance, and eventually led to her death. Couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this film. And I put myself in Eric Draven's situation. What would I do if given the chance to come back to life to put the wrong things right? Would I do it? And abso-fucking-lutely I would. Brandon Lee shows here, he's not just an action star being Bruce Lee's son. This man shows a lot of fantastic range in his drama. He has a little quips here and there, being a smartass and being funny. His range is fantastic. Ernie Hudson is Ernie Hudson. He is the police officer who was there at the scene of his murder and Shelley's, eventual death. And Brandon Lee hooks up with him, and then they try to stop, the criminals. David Patrick Kelly plays T-Bird, one of the leaders of the group. He's the same character he always is, this little weasel. But he's somewhat likable. A lot of the villains here are likable. But, yeah, this is like the perfect movie. You have your love story between Eric and Shelley. You have a revenge story because the man is coming to take out the men who killed his fiance. You have non-stop action. You have the supernatural, aspect of it. A man being brought back to life to do this. God, a little bit of comedy here and there. Great chemistry between everybody. Brandon Lee's chemistry between Ernie Hudson and the few scenes they have, fantastic. Is it Michael Wincott who plays Top Dollar? Top Dollar is the lead person of all the thugs. He's the one that tells people to do what to do. He's very charismatic villain. God, the perfect movie. It has everything that you are looking for in a film. And God, I can't praise this movie enough. I watch it every Devil's Night, which is the night before Halloween, because it starts off on Devil's Night. Yeah, cannot praise this movie enough. My favorite movie of all time, hands down, The Crow. So that's it. That's today's top 5, even though, today's top 5 happens every, fucking month or so. But, yeah, hopefully, maybe I've intrigued you enough to check out one of these films. If I have, please give me a comment below. Interact with me. I love interaction between people. I love it when it's more than just my 2 or 3 random people, or not random people, 2 or 3 constant people like Gollum, Roger, and Kyle. Hopefully I will get a new person. Hopefully I will get a new viewer, new like, new subscription, what have you. So yeah, thank you for watching. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, blah blah blah. Subscribe, like. Yeah, hopefully I have maybe opened your eyes, given you an idea to watch one of these films, because like I said, I can always say I love a film, but to stay in my top 5 and stay steady in my top 5 is saying a lot, at least to me, because my ideas change all the time. But these pretty much have been my top 5 for the longest fucking time I can remember. So hopefully, maybe I've opened your eyes and be like, you know what? Maybe I should check out Sin City. Oh, The Crow is, got everything. I'm fucking checking that out. So in the end, I would like to say cheers. And I don't know how to end my top 5 video, so I'll just say see you next time.